Pregame.com.
Tuesday night baseball action. We've got the Texas Rangers in Beantown to play the Boston Red Sox. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined by Bryan Leonard. Well, we talked about Texas a lot last week, and here we are. We're going to talk about them again this week. And our man's on the mound, Dempster. And you got a win with Texas last week with Dempster, but probably not the way you figured it was going to go.
Yeah, I sent you an email, and I said, how many times you win a game by 7 and you think you got the wrong side?
That's usually the way it is for you, huh?
As long as I'm winning, I really don't care if I have the right side or not.
No, you were there. Texas came through, and I tell you, after that game Wednesday night, the way they won Wednesday, I think they took all the wind out of the sails of the Angels, and we've seen the Angels not play well since then, and we've seen Texas, as we predicted, has now kind of gone on a little bit of a run. They've won 4 of their last 5. Dempster, now he's going to be second start. And for all the reasons I didn't like him in the first start, I think he's going to be in a better situation. And I think it's actually better that he's away from Texas because he was so bad in his first outing in front of the home crowd. But I just think he had no shot. I mean, the way he had to go down there last second, had his normal day pushed back 2 days. Now he's back on a regular schedule. I expect a big effort from Dempster tonight in Boston.
Yeah, I do too, and we kind of talked about this when we did the videos before. Him coming over, you made a great point about having to pitch and then all of a sudden get pushed back a couple of days, and I think that made a big difference there. And, you take a look at Dempster. He's already beaten Boston this year. He went 7 innings back in Chicago, shut him out for 7 innings. He's got a 1.82 ERA on the road this year. Granted, that was mostly against National League teams, but what does concern me a little bit about Dempster is his last 5 starts, he didn't go any more than 6 innings. He's not going far. He's getting up to his pitch count a little bit early. In Boston, Boston's a very patient lineup. That is a concern. I think this is a spot here where I like Texas, but it's more of a situation I want to go against Lester here than being on Dempster.
Lester, I mean, for the last few years, Lester was one of the anchors of this rotation, and he's just pitching horrible this year. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it with him. His ERA at home is 6.96 this year. Now, I know Fenway is a hitter's ballpark, and they're going to score runs there, but when you're toting an ERA of 7 at home, that's not good. He's given up 4 runs or more in 4 of his last 5 starts. Dempster, on the contrary, his road ERA is better than home. Now, remember, he was pitching at Wrigley, so it should be. But 182 is his road ERA. I don't care getting away from Wrigley or not. You're pitching a $1.82 on the road. That's solid. Fundamentally, this is a sound play, and these two teams are going in opposite directions. How can you back Boston the way they're playing right now?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Every time you think Boston's making that little bit of a turn, they start playing bad again. A new rumor about the coach comes out, the manager comes out. I mean, it's just been a disastrous year for Boston. Gonzalez starting to finally hit, and then they start getting a little bit of momentum. Then all of a sudden they struggle again. And you touched on some of Lester's numbers. He faced Texas this year, pitched 2 innings, gave up 7 earned runs. In his last 5 starts, he's given up 28 earned runs in 26 in the 3rd inning. He's just pitching terribly. And you take a look at what he's done against Texas historically. 139 official at-bats for Texas, .973 OPS against Lester. So it's just not this year. It's in the past Texas has hit him well, and the Rangers have won 4 out of 5 against the Sox so far this year. We went a little bit on the line. I kind of thought Boston, because of Lester's reputation, may be a little bit higher in the line. You said basically because Lester's not pitching well, it would go the other way. We kind of decided to be about 110, but I could see this going another 10 cents either way here.
Right. I think a lot's going to determine we're taping on Monday, so they're playing Monday night. I think when we see the result of Monday night, if Texas goes in and wins on Monday night, I think they come out the favorite tomorrow.
Very well could be.
I just want to touch on one thing. You mentioned it, but we went right past it. The clubhouse. This is something that I think we really got to look at Boston the rest of the way, because I've never been a fan of Bobby Valentine as a coach. But we got to look at this team went completely south last year at the end of the season, and they were still in a pennant race. I mean, they blew it at the end. Right. What's going to happen is if they fall completely out of everything, where are they going to go this year? You know, and we're already here in August. I think you got to start looking at it. If people are pointing fingers in the clubhouse, blaming the manager, I mean, they already rode Terry Francona out of there last year. What are you going to do? You're going to say it's the manager's fault 2 years in a row? You got to start looking in the mirror and taking a look at these players.
Yeah, they're going to start cleaning the house if they end up this year like they did last year. And you know, they've already started bringing up some of their young players, but they've had a lot of injuries. You know, a lot of credit for that. All year long, every single person, one after another, has gone down for injury. But it's just the whole clubhouse atmosphere just isn't there. And we've talked about this in the past, especially in football, where you've got a limited schedule, but you've got players that are used to success. Now all of a sudden, at the end of the year, they're not playing for the playoffs. There's nothing to play for. There's a lot of these guys, you know, they're saying, well, what's the point of even coming to the game and giving it all?
Absolutely. I think you got to watch this team. The next 2 weeks, I think, is going to dictate where this team goes the rest of the season. If they continue to slide here, this is going to be a team that you're going to be able to fade the rest of the way because they got no character at all.
And I do want to point out the front office didn't exactly go out at the trading deadline and make any big deals here. So that you know, a lot of times when the players are on that border right there and the management doesn't go out and make the deal to make them better, they're thinking to themselves, well, if management doesn't care, why should we care?
All right, well, there you go. Bryan Leonard says to take the Texas Rangers. I'm going to give him I agree, because I'm not taking Boston right now the way they're playing and the way Lester's pitching. So there you have it. That's our first pick for this week here on pregame.tv. We're going to be back looking at a Wednesday night game. We're going to take a look at the Yankees and Detroit, big game in the American League. That's up next on pregame.tv.